At the time of recording, this video is titled "Don't Ruin It Now, Arsenal," because I think Arsenal are on the brink of a 9 out of 10 window. Like a genuinely, and I'm talking on incomings here, adding the players that we need. Ultimately, when it comes to sales, of course, there's players that kind of need to move on, but I'm not going to lose sleep over the idea that Zinchenko might be a part of the squad next season, or Trossard might be. But you've got to add the quality we need, and I think Arsenal are genuinely on the brink of having that kind of window. But the noise is coming out, the more recent reports, and the pace with which the Gyökeres deal is moving along, and what's happening with other bits and other deals and other sort of bits and bobs is starting to really concern me. Arsenal have signed Kepa, good backup, fair, well done. They signed Mosquera and are about to announce Mosquera and have let Tomiyasu go, cool. Then Norgard and Zubimendi have come in to replace Jorginho and Partey, fine. For me, that's good business all round, and I'm excited about those signings, whether it's a squad depth or as starters. But then I look at the Madueke deal and I've got my concerns. But you know what? I'll say at least you went and got a £50 million winger. At least, whether I rate the player or not as much as I wanted to rate the winger that's coming in, at least I can say that Mikel Arteta has gone and got a £50 million winger who can play on the right and on the left, that he's clearly happy with, and that position's been addressed in some way. So that's 5 signings. You're on the brink of adding Gyökeres and Eze, and I don't think I could have asked much more of Arsenal. I want them to get the players that this manager wants. I want them to invest heavily in the squad. I want them to address all those positions. I want to feel like some kind of proven quality is coming in, and I think almost all those boxes are being ticked. But it sounds like this can all go wrong quite quickly, and I don't want to sound really pessimistic about it. Gyökeres, I think, will get done, but this is dragging on. And one of the big things I always said to people was, I will wait till tour. Now look, if today we get the Fabrizio Romano here we go, and he flies out, 14-hour flight to Singapore, and he's unveiled for this game against Newcastle, or he's maybe able, for AC Milan, shall I say, or he's able to play the Newcastle game on the weekend. If all that happens, I'll say, fine, you pretty much made the tour. But I'm here in Singapore right now, big up AFTV, I'm here, we're doing some content, we're excited for the game tomorrow. Gyökeres, it's close, but we are still hearing that these add-ons are a problem. That while there's a base fee agreed of around 60 to 65 million, 55 million of the base fee, the add-ons aren't being agreed upon right now. And it's dragging, and it feels like minor details that Arsenal should ultimately just overlook because they've got a good deal for a player that they want. And the more important thing is how do you put a price on readiness and sort of time with the squad? And look, maybe that doesn't equate to millions, but the point is we're getting to that point where it's like, do you want this guy or not? Are you going to do what it takes to get it done? I think it will get done, but I said, let me see who's on that plane on tour. And I was going to say disturbing, that's very strong. It's concerning we don't have a winger and a striker and maybe a new number 10 on the tour. The winger, Noni Madueke, staying behind, fine. Gyökeres, again, I think will get done, but it's dragging. So I've gone on about all of that, and we could put that aside, and you know what, we can say, but we think Gyökeres is going to get done, that's 6 signings. But don't mess it up now, Arsenal. Because the Eze deal, I was having a really good chat with Curtis about it. The Eze deal, for me, always made more sense with the Madueke deal. When we signed Madueke and I saw the links to Eze, I thought to myself, I kind of get it. Because what you're doing in 2 players is improving 3 areas of the squad. You're adding backup for Saka, you're adding backup for Ødegaard, you're improving the left wing. You're improving the left wing in terms of adding quality and Eze, but you're also, if you're looking for a 4th positive, you're also adding a player who's pacey, who's direct, and who plays on his left side, on his left foot out there, who can give us something too. So you've added kind of 4 dimensions in 2 signings there, and I think that's great. Like I said, I'm not Madueke's biggest fan, but I think that's quite smart squad building. But the recent reports, and it's taken me 4.5 minutes to get to this point, but the recent reports from Gunner Blog, James McNicholas, who's out here with The Athletic as well, are that Arsenal, after tying Nwaneri down to a new contract, may not, none of this is concrete, may not feel that the 10 position is a real priority, or getting another 8. It might not be a priority, and that puts into doubt deals for Eze and now Xavi Simons, who we know is now being linked with Chelsea quite heavily, and that would be very concerning. Because for me, Madueke isn't today guaranteed an improvement on the left wing options we've got in Martinelli and Trossard, and Ødegaard goes another year with the sort of creative overload or creative burden is the better word on him that, you know, he has to shoulder. Because if he's not doing it in the team, Zubimendi maybe from deep, Saka's very creative, but I'm talking from central areas. I'm talking pure midfielders. And Eze, being able to come in off the left, could give us a little bit of that, could even play in Ødegaard's position every now and again. He would be a top signing. It doesn't look like that's moving along. Now, to be fair, there are some ITKs and people in the know and whatever who are tweeting and posting, look, their information is that Arsenal still want Eze. I think Ben Jacobs said that once Gyökeres is done, they're going to move ahead with the Eze deal and try and get that tied down. But there's other reports saying that Arsenal will then focus on outgoings once Gyökeres is done. I think The Athletic might have said that. Or Romano, I can't remember. Turkish spoke about it in his video, so go check out Turkish LDN. The other thing is that Arteta in his press conference here in Singapore yesterday said we are still short. Now, I don't think you say that because you're just waiting for Gyökeres to get over the line. I think you say that because you're still expecting a couple at least to get done. And we know that Arsenal have been looking at Morgan Rogers, Siemens. Is it Siemens? Simons? Eze. Please let me know in the comment section below. Someone's corrected me once, but I keep getting wrong. I think it is Siemens. Anyway, we know that Arsenal have looked at a 10 type player, but we also know that the original report from The Athletic was Arsenal looking at Rodgers, Eze and Madueke as a third forward, which made sense for Eze and Rodgers but doesn't for Madueke. But now Madueke is the first one we brought in, so do we still want 2 more? Now we're hearing that might not be a priority, but we are being linked to Rodrigo and Gordon. So do Arsenal go and sign a starting left winger instead and basically say all the creative burden will remain on Ødegaard and Nwaneri as our 2 10s? Maybe bring in Lewis Skelly as cover in midfield. Maybe you do, you know, Zubimendi, like I said, will pick up some creative load. But ultimately, we're just going to add more firepower in the front 3. I don't know. It's very confusing. And look, I'm open to a few solutions. If we add Rodrigo, if it's after Gyökeres, it's Rodrigo, and we signed a whole new front 3 to add to the squad, and ultimately Nwaneri's going to play in central midfield, and okay, fine, that's the direction you've gone in. I still like the Eze move in terms of the balance of the squad and the players we've got. I think that's better. But okay, like there's a few ways you can go, but don't ruin it now, Arsenal. All of this is to say, don't ruin it now. Get the Gyökeres deal done and go get someone who can play comfortably on the left side in some way, is going to improve our options out there, but is going to take on some creativity and some creative responsibilities, and is going to give Arsenal another dimension, because I think we're really lacking that. And I think my big fear going into next season is I don't want us to be stale, and I don't want us to be tactically too similar to last year. I want us to throw different questions at teams. Now, to be fair, I think with Gyökeres alone, there's going to be a different question asked, because I think he will be used differently to Havertz. I mean, I think he kind of has to be for the type of player he is. But I felt Eze would have given us a different dimension. It would have given us a different way of playing. And now that we're hearing that might have gone a little bit quiet because Nwaneri signed a new contract, is disappointing. However, is this just good use of the media? We heard throughout the whole Gyökeres saga that Sesko was the number 1 target. That was the one that Arsenal really wanted to get done. Gyökeres comes through the door. Again, is it just using the media before eventually we go big and try to put the money down for Eze? Or is this a deal that with the players we've got, Arteta might go, yeah, I'd like to add him, but there's no rush on that. Let's make sure we get the right deal. I don't want Arsenal to be thinking that way. I want them to just get the deals done. But when you're doing a lot, I imagine they have to somewhat be aware of those things. That will be the job of Andrea Berta and others as well. So don't ruin it now, Arsenal. That's all I've got to say. Don't spoil what I actually think is close to being a great window. But don't ruin it. And I know that we're 6 signings deep with Kepa, Mosquera, Norgard, Zubimendi, Madueke, and Gyökeres. If it gets done, that'd be 6. Get Eze, it's 7th, it is a big window. and we can just sit there and go, I think we've addressed everything we wanted to address. How good those players are. Does Gyökeres get to this level? Is Eze good enough on the left? Is Madueke a better player than we all realise? Can Zubimendi fill in and be the starting six? All those questions will be answered in time. We can't answer that till we've seen them on the pitch for Arsenal. But at least we can say we had a bloody good go. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below.